Hello, my name's Georgia and this is my very first tutorial, so I would appreciate any feedback, but please be gentle with me. I've rolled out some Fimo copper, metallic copper, on my Atlas 150 on 0 setting, which is the thickest setting and probably about 3mm thick. I've then burnished it to my tile, which actually does two things. It sticks it to the tile nicely, and it also removes any of those little lines that you occasionally get from your pasta machine. So I'm going to add some gold foil now, and this is, as you can see, it's tricky stuff. It's so flimsy, you can never predict the size of the pieces that you're going to get. I'm just going to put random pieces when I can get them and I don't drop them on the tile. Put random pieces, big, small, mainly smaller pieces. I want a sort of jagged effect, and you'll see later why I want a jagged effect. So I'm going to go along and add them bit by bit there. It's quite satisfying. It sticks nicely to the clay and it's quite effective as well. Now that was a nice big piece, so what I'll do is I'll try and offset it by smaller pieces around it. As I say, it does stick to everything, and you always hear people say if ever you've got a fan going, please make sure it's not on, because it will blow the foil everywhere. It's lovely stuff. I love sticking it just randomly on pieces of work that I'm doing. So I'm just going through, filling it all up. Never ever goes the way that you want it to go. As you can see, I'm pushing it down there. And it sticks to the tile as well, as you will see later. I'm slowly adding it all. You can put them on top of each other, that's not a problem. You'll find it does stick to each other, sometimes it'll lift off. I think I'm getting towards the end now. Obviously feel free to fast forward on any of these. It is my very first one, so hopefully I'll get to do a second one and more than that, and hopefully I'll improve as I go along. Please, any comments, they're going to be gratefully received. Just the fact that somebody's watching this is going to be amazing for me. So I'm just doing the bottom section, and it's almost like a scene in a cityscape in a way, with all the tall buildings. So I shall push those down, fill in any gaps. It's quite difficult doing this. I didn't realise how difficult it was, and I'm in awe of, you can see, look what's happened there. That's just shot up to the top, and luckily it didn't stick, otherwise that would have ruined it. No, as I was saying, I'm quite in awe of the people, like Samantha from Jessima Designs, and all the others that do these all the time. I mean, you're literally working with the camera in front of you, with your phone right in front of you, and you have to look around it all the time. I think I'm coming towards the end now. I think I've used that whole sheet as well, which I didn't think I would. Right, okay, dusting the rest of it off. Alright, and then to make sure that it's all sticking down nicely, I'm burnishing it again. I quite like these, they call them, I don't know, patty, something, it's an Americanism. I forget what they call them, but they're really good, and I've got them off of Amazon. It's like greaseproof paper. So I'm taking my blade now, and I'm taking not the sharp end, I'm taking the other end, and I'm just slowly cutting little lines into the clay, trying not to go too deep, because obviously you don't want to cut right through the clay. So I'm slowly going to do this. As I say, please just fast forward. Once I get a little bit better at doing this, hopefully I'll be able to fast forward through these bits myself, so you don't get completely bored watching it. As I'm doing this, you can see it's lifting little pieces of the foil up again, which is not ideal. I'd have preferred it to stay down completely flat, but I suppose I am cutting through into it, so it's lifting it as I lift the blade up. Work my way to the end, and then I will go back again, and for any places I've missed or not done as deep as I would like to. Now when this is speeded up, it looks so satisfying doing it, but when you're doing it bit by bit in real time, it does take a little bit longer. But it's nice and controlled. I'm just gently going through all those. I use Fimo most of the time. Being in the UK, that's, it's so readily available over here. Although I have noticed, I do work with Sculpey, and I have noticed that there are places where you can get Cernit and Sculpey more and more nowadays, and there's some absolutely beautiful colours that come out there. But this one is Fimo. Some people don't like Fimo. They say it's difficult to work with, but I started off making earrings with Fimo, so I've only ever really known that. So if it's a harder one that I started with, I'm almost quite pleased. Right, just going through, making sure that they're all evenly spaced, as evenly spaced as I can get them. Right, I'm just removing any excess, and there was actually more that came off than I thought would come off. There's quite a bit there, as you can see. It goes into the... I'm taking the top layer. I don't know, maybe I should have used a softer brush. I don't know, because that's quite stiff bristles on there. So possibly they take in more off than I want. But on the other hand, if they are to come off, then you want them to come off. And now I think what I'm removing that, because it does, and that will go everywhere. I will be finding that everywhere. It sticks to the table. It just goes everywhere. Now I have taken a softer brush there, but I don't know if you can see it, if you can pick it up. It's actually putting little bits of the gold foil above the section that I've done, and it almost looks like a starry night. And I like that effect. Now I was really pleased with the way that worked. It's not just stark brown or copper clay that you're seeing. It gradually goes through. So I did a little bit more of that just to get that done. And then once again, try and clean up a bit. Okay. Well, I thought I was going to remove that then. I don't remember trying to do that before. It is time for the cutters. Now what you can't see is to the left of me, I do have cornstarch, which I dip my cutters into before I actually cut them. Now the whole idea of this is I just want the gold foil, as you can see, to appear at the bottom of the earrings. Right, I'm pressing down, giving it a little bit of a wiggle to loosen it. I don't know if that little bit of a wiggle's a good thing or a bad thing, because sometimes I think it lifts the edges, but I do it. I don't do it all the time. Oh, that's the wrong way round. Turn it round, turn it round. Yeah, there we go, turned round. I do love mirrored earrings. I don't know what you feel about them, but I absolutely love mirrored earrings, and I just can't do them if they're two exactly the same, but they should be facing each other. I won't make jewellery with that. So that sticks down a little bit as well, and you can see just the outline of the cornstarch or corn flour that I've used there, and it's all over that blue cutter. Now, what you can't see, there was a little mark coming up maybe on the next one. No, it was that one. It was that one. There was a little mark, or the graduations at the bottom weren't staggered enough for me, so I had to move it on a little bit, which means I lost a bit of clay there that I could use. But I just moved it on, press down, and I do use my acrylic block because it's a longer cutter and it's easier to push down as one rather than using your fingers. But then on the other hand, it does stick it down quite hard and you have to pull it up. So that's one down, and then the other. If you do them, if you do two virtually next to each other, I find that it continues the pattern. And I do a lot of my earrings. I try and do them as close to each other, especially if they've got colours in it, because the colour will go from one earring into the other earring if you cut them out together in the same area on your clay. Here we go, stick that down again. They do stick very well. You don't realise sometimes how hard they stick. And then, as we all know, it's trying to find some cutters to take up the little spaces that are left. Obviously, that one didn't fit. I could get one in, but I wouldn't be able to get two in. So we're going for this one. Now this, at the time, I thought was a great choice. They're really pretty little cutters, they are. And I thought, oh, that looked so nice when I did it. But, as you will see, because they're little cutters, the clay got stuck in the cutter. So, quite a struggle on that one, and out comes the clay. Now, you can blow on these. I think if they're sealed, more of a sealed thing, you can blow on it because you can build up the pressure. But I mistakenly used that little ball tool there. I think it's a ball tool. No, it's not a ball tool. Needle tool. I used that, but obviously I put a indentation in it, and when I came to finish them off, I didn't like them, so they went in the bin. But at the time when you're making it, you think, oh no, that'll be fine, that'll be fine. It's only when you work on it later that you realise it's not as good as you would like it to be. So that one stuck, that one worked nicely on that one. And then the others, because you've got the little gold flecks, see, I don't give up. I do try and save them. I do try and save them. And I think I even baked this one. But, so I'm trying to cover the little indentation there. But, no, as I say, I did bake it, but when it came out and I looked at it and I thought, no, I'm not sure. I have a rule for myself. If I make earrings and I think, oh, is that good? Is that, do I like that? Don't I like that? If I think like that, then I don't use them. I don't use them at all. They just go. So, as I was saying, because the rest of the clay has got little bits of flecks of gold in it, that was still pretty. Initially, I thought, oh, I'd have to just cut away the top part that I wouldn't use and then obviously use it later. But because there were little flecks of gold in it, they looked really pretty. And I thought, well, I'll make some more earrings with those. That's quite a nice shape. I think teardrop shapes are very popular. People like those. And then just to use up, initially I thought what I would do is I'd make some stud earrings. So I cut out at the bottom all the little shapes. I cut some circles and I cut some square ones as well, but they didn't end up as stud earrings, as you'll see at the end. Oh, that's really close. I never noticed how close that was when I was cutting it. And I like these metal cutters as well because they're such sharp cuts. I almost wish that all cutters could be metal. But obviously they'd be far more expensive than the plastic ones are. And then Old Faithful, that didn't fit though. I can't remember what I did at the top now. I'm sure if I wait a bit longer I'll see what it is. No, I didn't. No, I did it down at the bottom. I know I managed to get 2 on the bottom left. Managed to get them on there. And once again, they stuck in the cutter. But these I could manage to save. I think I'm blowing on them now. Yeah, I'm blowing on them to release it, but that didn't work. So that tool's far too sharp. I think I must use something a little bit more rounded. So that one's done, and then I think the next one sticks as well, which is a bit annoying because I did put it in the cornstarch. Yeah, 2 for 2. The other one stuck as well. I pushed that out, but I did manage to save those ones. Okay, so we've got to find something for that little area at the top. And I went back to the teardrops again. And I've done them sideways, and obviously when you do them sideways, and because they're lines, you've got to make sure that they are lying in the same direction so that the lines match when they're put together as a pair. And I just managed to get that one in. Oh, and then I think I noticed that that needed a few more lines at the top, so I just added those. And a little bit more. as I say, when you're working with a phone right in front of you, it is so difficult to see. Yeah, so that worked. So we take off the skeleton now of the clay, remove all that. And then comes the cleaning part. As I keep saying, please fast forward through these bits. I will learn how to do it. So I'm just with the metal, because those have been cut with the metal cutters, they always leave a lovely clean cut on them. And there I like to brush any corn flour off before I put it in the oven. It just makes it easier. And then obviously I'm going to go through each of those and clear the little crumbs off on the edge. Being gentle, making sure that I don't press the lines down. Now I should be holding these up right up to the camera, but I didn't. But hopefully for the next one I will remember to do that. Things can only get better, as they say. There you go. Oh, I do. But that's not great, is it? That's not great. You can't see how shiny these are. They're so lovely and shiny. Pressing out that bit there, cleaning the edges. Now, because it's got a hole in it, I also try to clean the inner part, just to smooth that down, so there's less sanding of the edges when you finish. There you can you see how the little bits of glitter are just catching there? It's so pretty. Now obviously, because I've put foil on here, you have to seal it, and what I've sealed it with is Fimo shiny varnish, which is great. I really like that one, and I think I only put one coat on here because I didn't want it super shiny, so I only put one coat of varnish on just to seal it all in. When you watch yourself work like this, you can see all the things you're doing wrong, like cleaning off your work on top of the other work. I should be doing that slightly away, but then I suppose with the camera being here as well, it's a bit awkward. So I've brushed those off. I have a little baking tray on the side there, which has got cardboard on it, and then I put it in there, and then because it's Fimo, I'll bake that at 110 degrees, and I will bake for an hour. I used to, when I first started doing that, do it for 30-35 minutes, but I've realised as the time has gone on that it is much better if you do bake it for an hour. But I do put it in cold and time it from the time I put it in to the time it comes out, and that's an hour. And I will put, because these are flat pieces as well, I will put a piece of card on it and then a tile on top of that, just to keep them nice and flat. There, I had a wasted effort on those because I didn't use those in the end, but you don't know, do you? And the last one. Smooth off those edges. I hate sanding. I really hate sanding. Clean that off there. Oh, there's those two little pieces, but they don't need much. Once again, metal cutters. It's just a set I've got with lots of squares, circles, teardrops. And that one as well. Right, and there's my, oh, you can see a bit better there. There's my tray with my little bit of card that I've got in there. And I've laid it on there. As I said, I will put a, oh, here, sorry, here's the finished ones. Hope you've enjoyed this. Bye.